Hello, how are you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. It's Monday, which of course means it's time for 5 things. That's 10. 5 things we learned from the weekend's football. Now, first things first, I am doing a live show on February the 25th in London at the Hen and Chickens Theatre. I'm doing it with a friend of mine called Dave Bibby. It's called Jim and Dave Have Lost the Dressing Room. It's a football-themed comedy show with some of my football songs you might recognise from my channel, and some games, some jokes. It's going to be loads of fun. If you like football, if you like comedy, if you like my channel, get down because it's going to be loads of fun. The show kicks off at 7:30. Tickets are £7.50 and there's a link below the video now so you can buy them, get them soon to avoid disappointment because it's not a huge room we're doing it in, so they probably will sell quite quickly. Hope you can make it. I'll be around to chat to anyone before or after the show if anyone fancies that, and it's going to be loads of fun, an hour-long show of football silliness. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 things I learned from this weekend's FA Cup action, starting with number 1. The first episode of this series was an FA Cup weekend, and I remember being a little bit kind of like, this doesn't feel very great at the moment, the FA Cup, not a lot going on. This weekend, it feels like the romance is back. 2 non-league teams through to the 5th round for the first time ever. 3 Premier League teams knocked out by lower league opposition, not to mention Newcastle losing at Oxford, and a few other shocks chucked in as well. It just feels a little bit like that magic has been sprinkled back onto the FA Cup as we head into the last 16. Now, it might have something to do with the fact that some of the bigger teams have been choosing to play weaker teams in the FA Cup as they concentrate on the league. But I'm not necessarily against this because I like the fact and the opportunity for smaller teams to get shocks. And if it means a bigger team playing a weakened team ends up in a couple of shocks in the FA Cup, especially in these latter stages, I'm all for it. I love seeing teams like Sutton and Lincoln into the last 16 and Wolves winning at Liverpool. You know that will have meant so much to fans of those teams, and believe me, as a fan of a team that has spent most of our history in the lower leagues, the chance to beat a big team in the FA Cup is huge, and it's a memory that you never forget. Even if Sutton, Lincoln and Wolves go out in the next round, you know that those fans will cherish those 4th round wins for years to come, and that is what being a fan of a so-called smaller team, or a team that doesn't really challenge for the Premier League each year, that's what it's about. The FA Cup is the oldest competition in the world, and hopefully these results will add a little bit of passion, a little bit of romance, a little bit more interest back into the FA Cup, which leads me into point 2. Gary Lineker revealed this weekend that the BBC asked the FA if they could show Lincoln's game against Brighton live on TV, but the FA said no, you have to show Man United versus Wigan. Man United Wigan, I mean, it just doesn't sound interesting. In the end, it was a straightforward win for Man United. No shock, no romance, no interest whatsoever. But Man United have now had something like 25 consecutive FA Cup games shown on TV. There really needs to be more pressure put on the FA to allow TV companies to show, certainly in the FA Cup, the games that have got more interest and the games that are romantic and the games that are going to bring people back to watching the FA Cup and to caring about it, because right now it doesn't feel like a lot of people care that much about the FA Cup. That's probably because we're having to watch Man United win 4-0, 5-0 against rubbish teams every round, when we'd rather be watching teams like Sutton United battle it out against bigger teams and cause upsets. That's what we want to see, and there needs to be more of that. We also learned this weekend that we definitely need to have more video technology available everywhere. There was a goal in the Barcelona-Betis game for Barcelona that was so clearly over the line. I mean, I understand referees make mistakes in game. It's quick sometimes. Linesmen might not be up with play. You're going to miss things. But multiple video replays from TV showed that Vidal's deflected shot was so clearly over the line and should have been a goal. Yes, this was a sort of meaningless league game for Barcelona. But there are going to be bigger games, and there have been in the past, where blatant goals haven't been given. It's 2017 now. We just need to make sure, I think, that there is video replay available for everyone. Let's help referees. It's a tough job. They get a lot of stick, but it's not easy. They've got linesmen. Linesmen sometimes aren't that good or can't keep up with play, so we need to make sure that we help them all to get the right decisions. In 2017, it's just getting a little bit pathetic that we're still not giving blatant goals. I mean, we're talking about bringing video replays in for penalties and offsides and stuff, and we can't even get goals right at the moment. Let's get that and then maybe we'll move on to other stuff. But football is such a massive global sport, and games matter, certainly with the money that's in at the moment, that it just feels like we have to get this right. So, video replays, let's bring them in for goals everywhere, and then we can move on from there. Speaking of money in football, my fourth thing I learnt this weekend, and it's not really this weekend, it's kind of ongoing in January, but certainly this weekend, there's been more examples of it, and that is that transfer fees are getting a bit crazy. Patrick Van Aanholt has joined my team, Crystal Palace, for 14 million. And I've seen Palace fans saying, well, that's a bargain for Van Aanholt. And I'm thinking, 14 million, is it a bargain? These days, that's become the norm. Snodgrass has gone to West Ham for £10 million. As a kid who grew up in the 90s and watched 90s football and remembers the first £10 million player and the most £15 million player, it's weird for those prices now to just be the norm for very average players. And we're talking about money being thrown around in the game, but it seems like it's very unbalanced. And Van Aanholt might turn out to be a great player for Palace, but 40 million seems like a lot. We spent 12 million on Jeffrey Schlupp as well. He's looked okay in his first few games, but still 12 million is crazy. But then the further up you go, it's getting ridiculous. You're looking at China now, 60 million for Oscar, 38 million bid for Slimani from Leicester. And Slimani's a good player, but is he worth 38 million quid? Pato is reportedly going for 18 million quid, and at this point 18 million, when you look at the previous prices, seems like a bargain, but 18 million is a lot of money. And where's it going to end? You know, how long before we get the first £billion player? You know, and I feel like it can't go on forever. Like it's unbalanced. It's going to topple over, and what happens then? Does the football finance world implode? Teams go out of business? That's already happening. It's unbalanced, and it feels weird, and it feels odd to be saying, yeah, £14 million, that's a bargain. It's not. It's a lot of money, and it feels odd. And I think we've got 2 days left in the January transfer window. I think we're going to see more average players going for a lot of money, and I don't know, makes me feel weird. And the final thing I learnt this weekend, something I kind of already knew, but it's been confirmed, and that is that Yaya Toure loves playing against Palace. He scored at the weekend. Man City beat Palace 3-0 in the FA Cup, which we all sort of knew was going to happen because Palace are in a relegation battle, so concentrating on that, whereas City probably aren't going to win the Premier League, but they could win the FA Cup, so they went for it, and they beat us 3-0. Fair enough. But Yaya Toure got the third with a free kick. That's the fourth game in a row he scored against Palace. He doesn't even seem to play for Man City that often, but when he gets picked, it's normally against Palace, and he will score and play really well. I'm looking forward to Yaya Toure retiring, because it means he won't get to play against Palace or leaving the Premier League, because I'm sick of him turning up, only playing against Palace and scoring every game and generally running the game. He seems to be an absolute bogeyman for Palace at the moment. He's the only player we can't seem to, well, not the only player, there's a lot of players at the moment that Palace are struggling against, but Toure, if he plays, guaranteed Palace defeat. And it happened again this weekend, and I not so much learnt that, but it's just a fact that's being confirmed, unfortunately. So there you go, those are my 5 things I learnt this weekend. Comment below, let me know what you learnt this weekend from the football action. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel for videos every Monday, every Friday, a mixture of these kind of videos and new football comedy songs. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'm off to go and see if I can get a transfer to Chinese YouTube.